So hey everyone, this is just a quick and easy DaVinci Resolve beginner's guide. I had a few people asking me about how I make my videos for YouTube, how I edit them and stuff, what software I use, and so I thought I'd run through this as a quick beginner's guide just to get people up and running really, rather than not going into too much detail, just getting from start to finish, editing your videos and get them ready just to upload to YouTube. So I don't know if you've not heard of it before. DaVinci Resolve is this powerful piece of software that it's used by studios and beginners alike really. The company make full-on cameras and studio equipment and all this stuff as well, but they make this great little piece of software called Blackmagic. Well, Blackmagic Design, a bit of a dodgy company name, I know, but they've got this great bit of software to edit your videos with, which is amazing. It's free, really. So if you go to their website, scroll down, it's this DaVinci Resolve 19, download free. And then in here, you can go here, just free download, just download it. And they've got like a studio version as well, but as far as I know, the free version has most of what the studio version has anyway. Unless you're like a full-on professional, you'll probably notice the difference. But I've had no issues just using the free one, and I think it's great. So I just stick with using this nowadays, and I find it runs great. I've used things in the past like Adobe Premiere, stuff like that. It kept crashing all the time. I don't really have any issues with this. Runs really well. It's really quick on my Mac to use, and so I just stick with it. So once you download it, you'll be met with this. You open it up, you'll be met with this screen. Once you've installed it, open it up. If you've got previous projects you've worked on, you'll be able to see thumbnails to them here, but which I've done. But I think I've archived a bunch of stuff as well, so it's not all even showing here. But you'll just want to just click New Project, and it'll ask you to put a name in, so you can retype in something now. I'll just leave it as it is for now, but you can put a name in, maybe put a date after it or something so you know what it is when you worked on it, whatever makes sense to you. Create. And like I say, this is just going to be like a quick rough and ready run through of how I do things, which is enough really it'll take you quite far. I mean myself, I probably want to learn some more stuff in the future, but I've found that just knowing like a bunch of the basic tools is enough to get something quite professional looking and get you started. So the first thing really is, first, the sort of editing workflow really on here, I think you work from left to right along these tabs, but I tend to find it's easier and quicker. I just go straight into this edit tab, and it's got the things I need in here anyway to get started. You've got the media area here where you sort of drag and drop or open up your clips like music and video and stuff, and then you've got all other stuff in here which I'll talk about in a moment. But first of all, you just right click on here, import media. I've got all of these ones in a folder, so you sort of navigate to wherever the folder is on your system, bring in all your music clips, your video clips. I've got some images here as well. So just select what you want, click open, and then you'll see those appear in your media area, media pool. So basically the sort of simple way that I can kind of edit my clips and stuff when I bring them in. So let me just bring in a video clip, which is this one, just drag it in, and you'll see V1, which is that's the video channel. A1 is the audio channel, which comes in with the video clip if you've recorded audio with your video clip on your camera or whatever. If you haven't recorded any audio, you probably won't get that there, but it automatically brings those in. So you've got one video channel, one audio channel. And then what you can do is I've just got the one clip here, but if you've got several, you can do this on all your clips. Drag them in, and then you can adjust the start and end points on them. If you can't see them very well, you can zoom in, which gives you more resolution this way. You can use this scroll thing here, which stretches it horizontally, so you can stretch out the scale that way to see a bit easier. Yeah, and then on my MacBook, it's hold shift, and then I'm using the middle mouse wheel to scroll in and out. So I'm not sure how you do that if you're on Windows or whatever. You can scroll in and out to zoom on your clip. That's how I do it. And then so you can make it a bit bigger to see what you're doing. You do it on the music one as well. And then what you do is, if you see this little arrow pops up on the left, you drag that along to where you want the start point of the clip to be. And you can see in the little window at the top, make this a bit bigger if you want to see it a bit better. You can drag the start point. So say I want to start my video there. You can sometimes get a clue, like if you look at where the audio is, where you're talking, you can see where you start talking, like, and just sort of drag it to just before you start, so there's not loads of empty space at the beginning. Then you can just grab the clip and drag it back, and you can do that at the opposite end as well. Just adjust the end point if you want, or you can also slice. Like say this bit, if I a lot of the time I'll cut out bits where I and R and stuff. So that's there. I can just use this tool and this slice one, which is red there. Clip that bit and then click on this bit here, the left mouse button, and then that puts a slice on either side, and you can just select it. These two clips are joined at the moment, the video and the audio, so you can just select them, hit delete on your keyboard, grab this one, and then drag them together like that, and then it's cut that bit out. You can always, if you wanted to, you can come back afterwards and you can stretch this back out if you want. But but that's what it does. It puts a slice in that place, so you can cut sections out if you want. And then at the beginning of my videos, usually I'll just fade it in slightly like that. So what you do is you just grab that little arrow thing that pops up at the top, and you can just scroll it along. And then what it does is it gives you like that, like a little fade in. And you can do that on the audio as well, so the music fades in and out. A little fade. I normally do that like on the end of the video. I don't want the music to fade out. I use that. But try not to go too far in, because if you go too far in like that, it takes forever to fade in. You need it just to be a nice little quick, like that, like a fade in. I think that looks nice normally. And then so yeah, you can sort of, you do that with all your clips. Like say I wanted to bring in another clip. Let me just scale this down so I can see a bit better. Zoom in, so now I can see, I'll scale it down so I can see more of the timeline. And say I want to drag that image in, I can drag that's just an image. I could do it with a video clip or something, but see, this is just an image, so it doesn't have the sound bit. Let me just zoom in so I can actually see it again. I can't see enough of it. And then you should be able to zoom in a bit. You can see like we had before, you've got the little start and end, so you can sort of drag out how long the image stays on the screen. So that'll stay on the screen longer now. So you just sort of time that however long you want it to show. Well, you don't necessarily have to put it on this channel. You could always put it on the channel above if you wanted and drag it over the. So if you had B-roll or something, you can drag it over the top and then it will play, and then you'll get that over the top. So so then once we've got our clips in place, like say that is there, let's just drag it out a bit, and we want to put a transition in here to make it a nice smooth, because at the moment it's just a straight cut. But if you wanted to put a transition in there, make sure you've got effects tab selected up here, so it's showing in white, you can sort of see it, it's not faded out grey. And then you should have this bit down here. And then you've got this little toolbox thing. Stretch it up. In here you've got video transitions. So let's say additive dissolve. I mean, before you drag these on, you can sort of, if you hover over them, you get like a little preview thing. If you see you can sort of see what it's going to do different effects to transition. I don't use a lot of these usually, but I find if you do use them, try not to mix them up too many, having many types. It look a bit amateurish when you do it that way. But if you have just some simple transitions and just keep them like sort of subtle and just have the same one through the video, it tends to work better, I think. But experiment with that if you want. And then, so you basically want, if you know which one you want, drag it. I don't know if I can do it on, oh yeah, there we go. I'm not sure this will work with it being an image. You get the idea. If it was on I should be able to do it down here actually. Because this is a video clip here, I've sliced it. So I wanted to put it between video clips. I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah, it kind of works. So sometimes it sort of straddles over the two of them, and you can kind of adjust the. Not sure why it's not doing it there. Oh, it is. It's just I need to zoom in actually. So it's sort of it's. So I was too zoomed out to see it. You need to. So you got it like that. It straddles over either side, and that's how quick it is. But if you wanted it to be like a slower transition, you could just grab it and stretch it out a bit, and then it will just do it more slowly like that. So that's what you do. And then if you don't want it, you just click on it and you can hit delete and you can drag another one in if you want. So that's to add a transition between them. Another thing is you can add text over the top if you want. So if we go into that same area here and go to titles, I think I'll just do a basic text for now. There's all these different ones in here that scroll on the screen, and just to keep it simple for now, just do a basic title text. And you put that wherever you want it on your screen. Say if it's at the beginning of your video, you want it down here somewhere. You can stretch out how long you want it on the screen for. You can do that same thing again with fading it in, fading it out. And then if you click on it, you get these properties up here. So let's just say Tony is amazing. Just to give a message to people watching. And then that should, Tony is amazing, right on the screen there, look. And then fades out, fades in, fades out. And there's all sorts of other options in here, like you can change the text, don't change the font, the size. So yeah, change the size of it, change the font type. There's all different options, and how it's aligned, and you can do it so that these things here are keyframes. You can sort of do it so that, like say here it's, oh that's fading in there, but I don't know, just do it roughly. Say there is like that position, and then move this to the end and change the position. And then add another keyframe. Oh, I didn't do that. I didn't do that right. I don't do that sort of stuff too much. But yeah, you can play around with all these things to sort of play around with the text and how it looks on the screen, how it scrolls, all that kind of stuff. But like I said, I don't use that very much, as you can tell. But that's there if you need it. Or if you want to just point people to something up at your website or something like that on the screen. But yeah, there's a bunch of options there if you just want to sort of play around with that. And then the next thing I usually do, once I've got that, got the music, this stuff in, actually, I usually also drop some music in. Oh, I did do it. I'll show you here where I got this from. If there's all sorts of places online you can get royalty-free music if you want to put it in as background music, but I just, for the sake of this, I'll just do. There's these free ones. Not a lot of people use these, but there's some decent ones in here. Like if I'm in it at the moment, but if you go into like where your little profile thing is up here, go to YouTube Studio, then you'll see this on the left, audio library, and you can just click on any of these and choose one that you want. You can put in ambient I was looking for, but choose whatever you're looking for in there, funky, ambient, cinematic, whatever sort of music you're looking for. Then you can just come here on the right and download it, which will give you a little MP3 file, which is what I imported here. And then you can just drag that like below your, this is on my speech channel, on channel 1, drag it down, a new channel will appear, drop it below. Again, you can just sort of fade that in if you want, fade it out. Chop it if you don't want the whole thing. Stretch it up, and you know, if I just wanted it for the intro, do that, then fade it out, do whatever you like with it really. But what you'll find is it's quite loud. You can't hear yourself talking. So you can you can click on your audio. Be careful once you slice things up that you're selecting everything, because it'll only select that bit. Like if I change the volume, it'll only up the volume on that bit. So just make sure you've sort of yeah, that one's command on the MacBook, command and click both, and then I've selected both there, and then I can go into audio and I could change the volume, so I could up my volume a bit. Just be careful, like when you see it going up to the top of it's like you might end up clipping the voice at the top and it will sound funny, so just be careful not to boost it too much. But I can up my volume of my voice, or I could click on the either or really. I can go onto the audio music and usually I have it quite low, like -25 or something like that, so it's very, I haven't put anything up for a little while, but so it's easy to go too loud with it, and then it drowns out your voice a bit. I mean, there's other ways you can go in and it kind of, I think it's this, is it dialogue leveler? I don't tend to worry too much about this, I just set it at a low volume, but you can like reduce loud so if you select that, I think it sort of drops the volume a bit when you're talking, and so you can just play around with this sort of stuff in here, this audio bit. Click on the clip, come into the audio section, and you can play around with your music to make it sound right. And then again, that's another part where there's just so many different options, and you could really dive into it if you wanted. There's a lot of stuff you can play around with on this. There's a whole audio section on here, but we won't get into that just yet. So once I've got all my music and everything like that in there and I'm happy with it, I'll go into, before I go into the colour grading bit, I usually just, in this bit where you've got your transitions from, this effects panel thing, you can go to, I think it's video transition, oh no, it's effects. Go into the effects bit, adjustment clip, and then I drag that above the main video, so it's like another channel above it, and drag it all the way along. I mean, you don't have to do this all the way along. You could do it. You just do it over basically the part of the video you want to affect. I've done it. I'm just going to do it over the whole video. I want to apply this color grading and stuff over it. But if you wanted it just to apply over a certain section, you could just do it over that part. But basically, what this allows you to do is you don't have to just go on the main clip, change all the brightness and contrast and all of that stuff, and then you're stuck with it. Then there's nothing you can do. It's a destructive workflow kind of thing. You can't go back and if I do all the changes and it's applied on this adjustment clip over the main clip, if I didn't like the color changes and things that I made, I could just delete this and start from scratch, put a new adjustment clip in, and then what I do is I come in here, just make sure your adjustment clip's actually selected, And then what you can do in here is you can adjust all the brightness and contrast and add a film effect and all that sort of stuff on it, but it's not affecting the main video underneath it. So what I tend to use, I think it's this one I use normally, like I've got these ones up here which are Fuji ones, which that one adds quite a bit of contrast, which I like using that because I think it suits my artwork's quite contrasty and stuff, so I think that looks quite good on there usually, so I just stick with that. But there's a whole bunch of different, I think it's that one or that one, it's just more contrasty, and there's some Kodak ones, I think in this Blackmagic design, but there's some of their ones from their cameras, and I haven't really played around with that much because I've got a Fuji camera myself and I like those sort of Fujifilm type looks, and so I usually just go with that one, and so that applies that to the adjustment clip, and you can scroll through your video to see how it looks in different parts of the video. And then the main thing is like down here, so like this video, it's quite bright from the window, but it's the room's still pretty dark, and like this side of my face is really dark, and one of my eyes looked completely black, like you couldn't really see it. So I think on this video I just sort of, I think is it this one in the shadows, if you lift that up a little bit, it can start to look fake if you do it too much. You can lift it up a bit, which lifts a little bit more detail so you can see. And I think dark as well. So yeah, the dark parts, it just lifts up the shadows a bit, pulls up a bit of the shadows a bit so you see more detail. I think that also depends what camera you've got and stuff, because it's called like a dynamic range. It's like how much detail the camera picks up in the shadows and stuff, and allows you to adjust things. But you should be able to lift it a bit, and see like there, it was really dark before, but I've just lifted the shadows up a bit. You can see that side of my face a bit better now, and here, see my good side. And then if you just want to do things globally, like adjust the exposure, that's what this is here, global exposure, you can just boost that up, or we should just do the whole brightness of the image. But like I say, just be careful that you're not selected one of these here, because these are the separate clips, and then there's the adjustment clip. If you did it just on one of these, that would mean that clip would get boosted up really bright, and then the other ones would be left as they were, so it wouldn't look right. It'd be jumping around in your video, like different brightnesses on different clips and stuff. So just be careful of that. I think that was all I wanted to cover on that really, for now. Yeah, but it's just basically this HDR section here. You click on HDR, then you get these, and then you can do all your adjustments. Like I say, scroll backwards and forwards, just make sure it looks right in different parts of the video. And yeah, you should be alright with that. And then I think that's it. I've covered everything really. You've got your video clips, you've edited them, put the music in, done adjusted the volumes and stuff. Then you've done some basic color grading, which is in here. And now that's all really to be left is to export. So to export it, you go to this bit, which is launch, the launch section. And in here, you can do like a custom export where you sort of put all your own settings in for what video settings you want and the size and everything. But I tend to just, yeah, if you scroll along, go to YouTube 1080. That's like a pretty standard. If you shot in that, you might have shot in 4K or something, change it around, but just 1920 by 1080, which is just the standard HD size for YouTube. It's all set right then, MP4, H264, you want it as that usually, or 265 I think you can do sometimes, but just leave it on that, that's fine. Then in here you just give it a file name, put whatever location you want on your hard drive, and then go add to render queue. I think if you don't fill that in and then you just go add to render queue, it's you've got a name, save it, and then you'll see it appear in your render queue over here. So then you just hit render. If you've got, you don't necessarily have to render it straight away. Like you can put a job there, render another one. You can stack these up, but usually I'll just do them one at a time. So I do it. It appears in this render queue, render all, and then it will just run through the whole thing, rendering it all together as one video from the clips that you put in and the effects and everything. Just renders it all together. And then depending on the length of the video, it take a little while, but it's not normally too bad. Especially if you're not using 4K and things like that, it's fairly quick. And so I think that's more or less. Yeah, you can just, as it's going along, you see the timeline here, it gives you sort of an estimate, and this is like 40% of the way through at the moment. But yeah, basically that's it. It'll just save it to the folder wherever you set it up. Then you can just go in that folder and grab that file to upload to YouTube. I don't know if that's something else people would like me to show. If you're familiar with how to upload to YouTube and stuff, it's something else I could show if you wanted. And I'll assume people are okay with that unless you ask in the comments about it. But yeah, basically that's it. Good job, and you've just done your first video, and no stopping you now, no excuses, just got to keep going. And yeah, like I say, I hope you found it useful, and I'm planning to make more videos like this, like little tutorials, and hopefully just keep improving them as I go, and make them more useful to people, whatever you actually want to see. And I just, like I said, I'd love to sort of hear in the comments how you found this, anything you'd like to see in future videos, either on video editing like this, or perhaps other stuff like how I photograph artwork, or upload to YouTube, how I actually film the videos on my camera settings and stuff, or I'm not sure really. Just you tell me what you want, and I'll have a look at it and see if I can do a video on it. And yeah, just love to get some feedback really, and just keep going from there. And if you do like this sort of thing, just be sure to like, subscribe, and the other thing is my if you want to sign up to the Second Birth Gang newsletter, which I'm just getting going, I'll be sharing like exclusive content just on there, and freebies, and anything people that really want to follow along closely on my journey and want sort of tips and things that I'm learning along the way, I'll be sharing with people. And I'll pop the link to that below in the video description too. I think that's it really. I don't think I've forgotten anything. So I guess, yeah, just hope you all have an inspired week, and I'd love to see any videos that you put together, whether this did help you to achieve that. And yeah, onwards.